That was cool. I like that.
We're back at it again.
We really are.
With the Crocs.
I think that might have picked it. I fucking hope. I vowed to not say that word as much this stream, and I already said it.
Introduce yourself, because you are the first of the name.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to our podcast, guys. We call it Good Vibes Only, and I'm Fire of Feyerandeyece, and
I'm the ice part
yeah,
of Fire and Ice.
true story.
And you have joined us here for our second podcast.
Now you
I'm excited.
do the clappy.
Wait. I'm remembering what they are.
I'm impressed that you knew which one was the clappy because I don't even know.
I actually put a little cheat sheet.
That's actually really impressive. That's even more impressive than if you remembered it, honestly. Takes more thought.
Last time, if you watched our other podcast, I actually had a note card that had everything planned, everything we were going to do, and I wrote one for this one, and I left it at home.
It's like every time we go shopping, every time we go grocery shopping. That's why I write it on my phone now. I'm not going to forget my phone.
That's a fair point.
I will forget paper.
But yeah, so I just wrote a little quick one here.
I love that you have your crystal on there, not to cut you off.
Yeah, to give good vibes.
The good energy.
This is actually from my Aunt Patty that passed away, R.I.P. We got to have a few of her things, and after the hurricane, this is the only thing that survived that I have of hers. So.
I had to stop wearing a bracelet because it's starting to
I can restrain
fray.
it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We gotta do that, bro.
But, so the topic for today, last time when you caught us, we were going over just, coping mechanisms, things that we do when we're feeling stressed, when we're, not in the best mood or mindset.
Yeah.
And we all kind of went over the different things that help us kind of process life and get through the day. This time, we kind of brought some of those.
Yeah, we did.
Coping mechanisms.
Alcohol made another. That's unrelated.
It usually does.
Our dad came home with it. He got it for free.
And then we also have the lovely Duke and Dame. They are a really good salted caramel whiskey. If you haven't tried it, I highly suggest trying it. I'm not a dark liquor person, but I pretty much drink this weekly now. Because it's good.
Yeah.
And it's good in lemonade, and it's good by itself.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
That lemonade slapped.
I can't do a lot of shots, but I can actually do a few of these in a row. So
yeah, I didn't realize that either. I am not a shot kind of gal. Actually, if someone else paid for it, I'm gonna drink it because that's just respectful kind of girl.
That's just being real.
But I would not order a shot.
It's 35% alcohol. I didn't realize that it was that high.
Whoa.
Either.
It doesn't taste like it's that high. Respect.
No, but you feel it after a little bit.
You feel that heat.
So Duke and Dame is actually we work with the owner and we do a lot of events with them, and I actually got to hang out with the owner at Miami Swim Week. Really good guy. Really fun to be around. And it was just cool to see how everybody was reacting to the brand itself. Everybody wanted a taste of it. So it was cool that we were giving out samples and telling people that they could actually buy it in store.
And I mean...
So that was pretty cool.
Can't go wrong with salted caramel.
No, and we did some really cool, 360 videos with the Duke and Dame bottles. And it was just kind of cool. We got to be, hype girls for the party, and everybody was like, oh, that corner over there,
that's girls the party,
know how to party.
That's the party.
And that's kind of what we do wherever we go. That's just how it is. But
Squad.
We got Duke and Dame on hand. Thankfully, we have been able to work with them, and they are technically our first sponsor of our podcast, so that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
That, first episode, they were unofficial. But second episode, they're our sponsor. So
really? Oh my gosh. Clappy. To Duke and Dame.
Yeah, Duke and Dame, man.
For making a lovely drink.
I actually just had some today.
Really?
Yeah, at the event. And,
that's hilarious.
It was raspberry lemonade.
Oh my gosh, what?
Super good.
Raspberries.
Raspberries, baby. You remember that?
Of course, I thought it was cranberries.
Oh, it was. Cran-babies berry.
That's how much she practiced. I knew her lines better than her.
It was
That's
my
how much I heard
lines
them.
in a high
She said,
school
"That's
play.
cranberries, baby," and I was like, "That's probably my favorite line of this whole play."
It was a fun play.
Because she had to be like boisterous.
We're gonna, crack open our other drinks.
Are we? Okay. Oh my God.
We got some Mike's Harders just to kind of
It's
go
like Mike's
harder.
hard, but harder.
Listen to this.
Oh, wow. Listen.
That was a
and
nice
watch
sound,
that. I'm
though.
so
that was beautiful.
my nails. I have.
Do you need help?
No.
Oh, you could still hear it too. That
Really?
was nice. Yeah. Are you gonna open
The
your
snap, crackle, and pop.
He's not on mic this time, and he's not on camera.
But he's in our heart.
We're working on some things, and Daniel is still here, forever in our hearts, and right on the other side of the camera.
Oh.
So you hear it. You
I
can
hope
actually
that
pick it
picked
up.
up.
Yeah. He
Yep.
just opened up a lemonade Mike's Hard. If you are listening
Classic.
on Spotify, we
Daniel?
we have strawberries.
How
Oh, he pulled a
dare
U.
you?
He
No,
pulled a
I
U.
sniffed it.
Not this time.
I
Cheers,
sniffed
everybody.
It.
Cheers to our second episode.
Cheers.
And for having good friends.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Daniel
Okay.
has been helping us
Do the
film all
clappy
this.
for Daniel. Do a clappy.
Daniel Ortiz. Check him out on all the socials. He's a very, very talented photographer, filmmaker. He also has 2 podcasts of himself because he's an overachiever. He has a passion project that he interviews a lot of like local artists and business owners and just people that are passionate about what they do. And then he has one with Jans, our homie, that is not with us tonight.
Made it
But-
sound like he's dead.
He's not dead. He's still very
He's
much
no longer
alive.
with us.
But he's just not here right this
They're both
second.
here in spirit.
Right.
Like, that's not good.
And they have a podcast called Weird Friends, which you should definitely go check
For
out.
the
It's
kooky,
a good
ookly
time.
friends,
Yeah.
you know?
They
for the kooksters,
definitely are
the
some weird
weirdos.
friends, and that's a testament
That was pointed.
that I'm making right now.
Yeah.
In person, they're pretty weird. So go check it out.
Yeah. Accurate.
But as far as our podcast, let's get this show on
ball
the road. My sister,
Yeah, that's me.
well, why don't you explain?
Okay, so recently I was at the store and it wasn't recent, actually. I've had this for a bit now. But I got Play-Doh because I was like, you know
what
what?
color you want?
You gotta pick one.
You have to.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh my god!
Bless
I'm so
you.
sorry.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, you get that green.
Hey, get the green.
Hey.
I'm gonna leave the ring on. It'll be a cool. Wait.
It's just fun to go like.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
fucking
gosh, that's
sick, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it again.
But okay, so you. Went
Oh yeah,
to
I
the
got
store.
distracted by the Play-Doh. But I got distracted by Play-Doh at the store because the little like back to school section, like with all the markers, and that is my
It's my
weakness,
favorite
dude. I
section.
gotta walk by it fast. There was a Mr. Potato Head. I think I regret not buying that.
That's fair.
But this was $5. If I regret this later, it was only $5.
That's true, and you can never regret.
I don't
Play-Doh.
regret it. It's so fun.
Oh.
It does help. Like it is a good little like.
He
So-
dropped Play-Doh. He's off camera, so you can't see it, but
fucking
you could probably hear
that
the
was the
thud.
most genuine. I feel like someone just like shot me. You really dropped the ball and the Play-Doh.
Oh,
You just made my life better by doing that. Oh my! I feel so.
but
funny.
anyways, coping mechanism.
$5.
You know, just to kind of throw
$5.
back to our last episode. If you hadn't seen it, we talked about coping mechanisms, and this is definitely one of my favorites.
Who doesn't remember? I almost said eating Play-Doh, but that's not something I should say.
I have definitely.
We
done
all
that,
have eaten
though.
Play-Doh,
Yeah.
and it explains a lot.
It shows in
It
our
explains a lot.
personality.
She's right though.
Oh, you're one of those kids that ate Play-Doh, and it shows.
Yeah, yeah. And then we're over here like making shit out of it. It's like
At least we're not eating it anymore.
we grew up. For us, for stopping bad habits. You know.
It's part of our podcast, Just
Got hair in it.
Hell yeah.
did you do that?
I just opened it.
Sure.
God bless. It's probably from our cats.
Or is it long? You never know.
I am a long-hair cat.
That's true. But yeah, so we figured we would start the show with some Play-Doh. I made a snowman.
Low-key, like, actually impressed. You gotta do the clap for yourself.
Thank you.
Gonna use the shit
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I always go straight for when I'm playing with Play-Dohs.
Really?
And I squish him.
Power. The power of, to create life and to destroy it.
Mentally, what does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, I've just been kind of... I did not make
I made
anything.
a snowman so I could destroy him.
I only made myself depressed.
Okay, well, I'm going to put this away because I'm getting too distracted.
Yeah, it's hard to speak.
I want to talk to
But
you
that
guys.
was good. That
because
was, we had a Play-Doh moment.
We did.
We had a
Play-Doh
Play-Doh
moment.
Fuck yeah.
Jazz.
You like jazz?
But, yeah, so Play-Doh, coping mechanism.
Play-Doh.
But I really wanted to dive into, kind of like self-care, self-love, love in general.
Who
like
couldn't use more of that?
that topic today. And
the line between confidence and conceited.
Preach.
Where is it?
That's a good.
Who draws
that's a good
it?
one. So, new segment that we're gonna just introduce for today.
I thought that was for our what was it? Oh, damn, it just
Play-Doh
happened.
moment.
It's right in front of us. Oh my god.
But so I don't know if any of you guys. I know the three of us in this room did because we all went to go see it together.
Oh, Babby.
But Barbie came out, and honestly, I really, really enjoyed the message behind the movie. I don't want to give out any spoilers in case people haven't seen it. I want to give you your chances to go see it. But really good movie. I highly suggest going to see it. It really was a good kind of play on what's going on in our world.
It was a social commentary.
It was, and it was just nice to see it in that big of a platform, on that big of a screen.
And honestly, as someone who, like, I was a little nervous to be at, like, such, like, a girly, like, event. Like, I felt kind of like I was going to be, like, out of place. But it was just so nice to be so united with a bunch of, like, women and Kens. Mm-hmm. We got a shout out for our Kens.
Our one Ken that showed up.
Our one Ken.
Our cameraman Ken.
Yeah, because it was really nice. I mean, I was definitely nervous going into that situation, but I actually had a lot of fun. It was about, like, all of us kind of just coming together and doing our shit, you know?
I didn't have anything pink, so I had to purchase something to wear, but I went all out.
I wore a shirt you had given me.
I went as Director Barbie.
I gotta be honest, it was on point.
Thank you.
You were Director Barbie.
I had a lot of fun with it. I wore a wig. It was a good time. It was
I
just
had
a good
lot
time.
of fun with it. I wore a wig. Love that sentence.
To get a bunch
Love
of
that.
people like together and just have fun. Like the lead up to going to see the movie was really fun.
The group chat of us all freaking out about how excited we are.
And then kicking Sharitha out so she couldn't hear it because it was her birthday. So shout
Best
out
part
to Sharitha.
is when she
Happy
cried
birthday.
at her surprise party.
Oh yeah, she walked into the surprise and she just started crying.
Right here,
and
bro.
It was like
Right here, bro. That felt.
It felt good to.
You don't realize how much it means to just, like, even give a little bit of celebration for people on their birthday. Like, some people never really experience that. Like, I had a friend who literally, my best friend in the whole world, had never experienced, like, any holiday, had never celebrated her birthday, like, because her religion just, that's not what she followed. And then, of course, she came over to our house and was like, Halloween?
Some
But-
people are never taught self-love.
Yeah, and she's, like, literally the coolest. Like, I love her so much, and it, like, breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But that's self-esteem, dude. It doesn't make sense because logic and emotion are enemies, and they're both in everyone, and it's crazy. They're the opposite of each other, and it, like, life is just trying to balance them both without losing your shit.
Ain't that the truth? Fucking preach. Preach it, sister.
I'm preaching, girl. It's Sunday. Someone gotta. Thank you. That's...
But yeah,
Amen.
so the Barbie movie had a really good message. It definitely, like,
I especially liked the message where Barbie gave Ken of, like, love yourself, honey. Get your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't like you like that, but do you, boo-boo?
Spoilers.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But that was, like, my favorite part of the
Yeah.
movie.
My
I
favorite
suck. I
part
did spoil
was
that.
the end, where I'm not gonna like get into detail.
I already spoiled it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to put
Put
on
a
there that
spoiler.
there's a
Yeah, we can
spoiler
do
alert.
that. Like, do
My
it.
favorite part was at the end where they turned Barbie Land back, and the Kens are asking, well, can we have at least one Supreme Court seat? And she's like, oh no, but we'll give you a lesser role. And then the narrator comes in saying, and Kens are still fighting for the same rights that women have in the real world. And I was like, oh, that line like resonated so deeply.
It's interesting that the Barbie movie like took the opportunity to really make a statement instead of because it's a movie about a toy and they made it that like deep, which is interesting.
I like how they
because it is a lot about
history.
Barbie is a lot about beauty standards.
I like
and
how
they did a good way of like
they showed the history
right?
of why Barbie was even created, because like little girls, the only toys they had were babies, and they were being trained to take care of something at such a young age.
And Barbie was like,
and the creator of Barbie was like, no, screw that. I want women to be empowered. I want them to be doctors and lawyers and mathematicians and astronauts. And she kind of changed the game. Like, you know, little girls didn't just have to play with little baby dolls and like aspire to be a mom and that be the only thing. Like, they actually could start seeing themselves in different places.
Be a doctor and a mom, or just a doctor, or just a mom.
It was nice to see them like pay homage to that. Like, there was another monologue where they were talking about like mothers and their children and like the battles that they fight for their children. Like, it was just a really well written movie. And everyone that's upset about it, like, it just seems like they didn't even watch it.
I don't internet a lot, so I don't.
There's a lot of
It's not even worth going into because the movie was good. So
it was amazing.
Cool.
Go see it. If you need like a lesson in self-love and like, you know, empowerment and like feeling like, you know, you can do it all, go see Barbie. It was really cool to go with a group of women too. It would have been different like if it was just me and like my sister, but we went with no. It still would have been fun, but it was cool to have a whole group. We rented out a whole row.
Goes right into like
I
saw. We had fun. We had fun.
Saw it in your eyes. I was like, I was
like, fuck that. But
no, but we rented out. I've never done that. I've never had enough friends to go see a movie with that I could rent out an entire row. Like,
that was fun.
That was cool.
That was fun.
That was cool. And we had a Ken. Shout out to Ken.
We had one Ken.
But yeah, it was good, and it kind of like reinforced me like and what I'm doing and like trying to be like a woman in a position where a lot of women aren't. Like, that was one thing that I really liked seeing. And like, I've had jobs where I'm the only woman. Like, when I worked in the news, there were mostly men. When I worked for PSAV, I was the only female at almost every site I went to. And it was nice to see a movie, like, call that shit out.
I mean, yeah, sexism is very alive for everyone. That's one thing we all have in common. Like,
yep. And it was just cool to be like, okay, I don't feel like I have to, like, nobody else gets it. Like, a whole movie for a whole generation, they're all seeing that. And
I mean, really often,
cool.
Like, one side of the sexism scale, or however you would say that, like, it's to discuss one isn't to downplay the other. Like, it isn't a zero-sum game. We can both have things that we're upset about and need to discuss without one of us being like, well, ours is worse. Because that's where everybody starts miscommunicating and, like, getting angry, and now your message isn't what you meant, and now it's worse than before. When, like, let's just calm down and talk about it. Let's be cool. Agree to disagree. Let's just, like, not be dicks to each other for any reason, you know?
You know, that would be nice in a perfect world.
Let's just be peaceful. Let's just play with Play-Doh.
This mic's hard. This is making me all burpy.
It is. And I have to, like, excuse me. But, yeah, we brought
for the people that can't see the cameras, my sister works at a crystal shop, and she has a deck that she brought that she wanted to share with the class.
Yeah, it's fairy It's affirmations of fairy cats. So like basically you pretty much just draw one card from this, like at least how I use it. I draw like one card every morning, and whatever it is, I read it, and it's always a message about like empowerment or like, hey, you nice, keep going.
You do a good job today.
You nice, keep going. And like it's simple but it's powerful. And the first one, it was winter.
Oh,
It looks like a little owl.
it looks like a little pine cone.
It's a pine cone
It's a
owl.
pine cone.
It's a pine cone. Let's see what
She's gonna
winter
look up
was.
what the message is.
Here,
But yeah, for the people that
entertain.
can't see, it is a card that is like purplish, pinkish, blue, like the sky. It's got a bunch of snowflakes, and there's a little kitty bird sitting on a branch, and there's pine cones, and the kitty bird looks like a pine cone.
And an owl. It looks like an owl.
And cute, and cute, and cute, and cute. It's so cute.
I know good things are awaiting me. My patience will always be rewarded is what that card's affirmation is. So like,
Be patient.
be patient,
The
dude.
best is yet to
Good things come to those who wait. But also that doesn't mean don't do shit.
Preach.
Like do stuff, but also like be patient about
On
it. It takes time.
God.
Rome wasn't built in a day. You know? Much easier to destroy something in a day than to build something.
Just like trust.
Why'd I look him
Takes
right in the eyes? when he said
Years
that?
to build.
I wanted to involve you,
and a
but
second
it was a
to
weird time to
destroy.
do. He feels called out. It's for the Play-Doh. Oh my god, no, he looked genuinely hurt. It was, all of these were $5, so.
Each.
Are you Are you okay?
Play-Doh's fun.
He must be hitting that mic's hard pretty harder.
Yeah.
Go off.
He's having a good time. Our cameraman knows how to turn up.
He does. He does.
But
Party wolf.
yeah, so as far that's another coping mechanism and
Oh, yeah,
like a
for sure.
way to, have self-care and self-love
Affirmations. Oh.
is
Sorry. I'm
using cards. I really like doing readings every now and then. They aren't always gonna have like a perfect meaning or, but every now and then like the message comes out and it's like, oh, I really needed to hear that.
Yeah,
That's so nice.
and like what's cool with these, I've never had an affirmation deck, and what's cool with these is every card has a positive message for you. So like to start your day, even if you get the death card, it's gonna be like every closed door opens another. Like it's gonna be some positive twist of that. Because I
some
mean,
hippy dippy shit that we
and
love.
they're
Yes.
kitties. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be happy if I see fairy kitties.
Yep.
But also healing crystals.
Caribbean
Yep.
calcite.
Yes, ma'am. And what's interesting
It
about
looks like
this?
an ocean.
It was discovered in 2019. It is and everybody's like,
Wow.
oh, so it was like in the Caribbean, Afghanistan. It was discovered. Isn't
Huh.
that cool?
Is it only in Afghanistan?
I don't know about only, but 2019 is very recent, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the only like ores they found. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it that much, but I think that's pretty cool how like new it is. And someone was asking about it today, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring it because
Bring
it's
it.
pretty, and we're talking about coping. And if rocks around me makes me feel better, amen. The only way a
Preach.
rock's gonna hurt you is if someone throws it at you or you trip over it,
That's
which
fair.
is possible.
That's a
but-
fair point. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask today, because we had a question
a prompt,
last
if you will.
time, that we kind of like used as the core, which was what are your coping mechanisms. What I wanted to ask today is kind of similar in a vein, but a little different. It's what do you do when you're having like a self-care Sunday? Because we are filming this on Sunday.
Self-care Sunday.
And like, what you might do to cope in a situation where you're feeling really emotional is going to be different than what you're going to do when you like have time to yourself and you can like pamper yourself and like
when
what
you
are-
don't have to answer to anyone.
and you have like a full like
How do you align yourself? How do you bring yourself peace? What is peace to you?
like what you have a full day to do whatever
Oh, wow, that's a
you
lot of me
want.
time. That
Like
sounds lovely.
you like what do you do to make you feel your best?
One word. Candles.
That's a good
I
one.
have so many flippin' candles.
She has so many
dude.
candles that
I
she
gave her
came
one
into
just
my
because I was
room.
like, hey, if
were
you want
about to
to use
go to
this
bed.
tonight, like it might be like easier for you to sleep. And
It
you're just like,
helps.
hell yeah.
yeah.
Smells good.
I'll light it like an hour before I go to bed.
Ambiance.
And then it gets
It's
me
nice.
in the zone. But yes,
Yeah,
candles are
AutoZone.
it's not only like a visual thing, like the
crackles.
flicker of the flame like is soothing, but like the smell from the candle.
The aromatherapy. What's interesting, I was reading about that today. Very
And
interesting that was brought
What's
up.
cool is that like there's something that I actually read. It was like famous celebrities riders, which are like the form of like all the things that they're requesting in their dressing rooms when they go on tour.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have like a specific candle that is like what they request because it gets that like every time they smell
Zen.
it's a scent, like it's a memory and like a trigger, so anytime you smell it you get in that certain headspace.
Aren't human brains so interesting?
Yeah.
We can train ourselves.
Mhm.
We out here training pets. We can train ourselves.
So like you can train yourself to like if you smell a certain candle, a certain scent,
it'll
get you
just
in
elicit a
certain-
memory. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting things
Yeah.
like nostalgia. You
Mhm.
know, it's interesting.
So candles is a good one. The first thing that I think of is a bath. I
Really?
fucking love baths. If I have enough time, I have a nice enough tub. Like one that I have a lot of space in that I can fully submerge. Like I have a lot of physical pain. So bath salts, like in a tub, rim the entire tub with crystals. I'll throw some like essential oils in the tub.
You really be aligning that with crystals?
Yes. Every time I take a bath, I'll put
I would
at least
be so
one
worried.
on the
Okay,
side.
one is.
But I usually do at least
'cause, like,
7.
really
for my
For
chakras.
chakras. Okay, that makes sense. Do you put it like? In
I
the bath
used
like
to when
that?
I first started doing it. I would literally lay them on my body and just lay in there for like 15
Homegirl
minutes
meditating in
and
the
let
bathtub. So meditation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like there's something special about a crystal bath. Like it's like healing.
Can you imagine taking in a bath?
I
Like,
want
in
a crystal.
tub?
Yeah, that's my most bougie thing
what
that I want to
what
get.
crystal? Because that will vary the price so much.
I'd probably do
drastically.
rose quartz.
I was about to say because aquamarine would be insanely
Yeah,
expensive.
I couldn't afford
It would be
that,
so expensive.
but it would be sick.
Rose quartz would be way easier. Because I mean, if you
Or
got a
amethyst,
you got a low grade,
or even a quartz, just a
you got a low
plain
grade,
quartz.
that'll be more expensive. If you got a low grade amethyst, be beautiful.
and it'd be dark.
That would be a high grade. The darker it is, the better the grade
Oh,
is.
so it'd be like, well, that's a mood.
Girl, as long as it's a crystal, I'm gonna take a bath in it.
But
Yes.
yeah, so that, bubbles. I'll usually have like a pen or a joint,
I agree with you with bubbles though.
and then I'll
For
play
sure.
like
Bubbles are lit.
I'll try and play music with no words so I can meditate
Really?
better. But I mean, a lot of times I'm just lazy and I gotta take a quick bath.
That just
so I'll
makes me
play.
like baths bore me. I know
It's
that
so
sounds
relaxing,
crazy,
though.
but like I don't know. I feel like I'm like making a soup
I used
out
to
of
be
myself.
like that
and
when
I'm
I
like,
was younger.
what am
But
I doing this
then
for?
I started like there's actually an album that I
The
love
song
taking
changed
a
you?
bath to. It's about
Is it Alina?
Perez.
Yep.
It's about 30 minutes, the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
So it's perfect to like actually time yourself to stay in the tub because I get bored too. I'll like
Yeah.
want to scroll on my phone, but I'm trying to stay away from everything.
That
Like
ruins the whole point.
so I'll play that, and I had it on vinyl, and it was the most
Damn.
comforting thing to have my record player in the bath. Not in the bath, but in the
Along with my
bathroom.
toaster. When I've had a bad day.
And then I say, fuck everything, and boom, I'm done.
But then you're like, oh wait.
I have responsibilities.
sister.
And a sister. Which is one of my
And cats.
responsibilities, so.
And those are also
Yeah.
responsibility. But
But the record player, like sitting on the toilet or like on the sink, like, and the Alina Baraz, I'd have to get up and like change it, like flip it. But it was like 30. It's like I think it's like 28 minutes. So it would actually force me to stay in the tub and like relax. And it's so soothing. Like the music is just so melodic and
music in itself is a really good coping
beautiful.
mechanism.
like
Even if you're singing, even if you're playing an instrument, music is
like
music therapy.
my key.
And pets. We mentioned our pets.
But when it comes to like self-care,
Mm-hmm.
that's like my perfect setup, like in the tub.
Really? I
If
don't
I could
even know
have
what
one of those
mine would
little
be.
tub things that like go across
If you
the
could
tub,
have, why don't you just buy one?
that's true. But like you put
can,
that thing
you can
out and you
have.
can put a book and you can read in the tub. That's
I'm too much of a spaz for that. Oh wait, I used to do that all the time. In the wheelbarrow. I hate that I had to say
sound
that.
like we're so backwoods, but we kind
I was
of
born
are.
in Florida. Should I pretend I wasn't?
That's a fair point.
Should I? I'm not. I respect nature, but I'm not as afraid of it because I grew up in it.
But okay, so what?
Grew up in the swamp.
What's another thing for you that's like self-care? Oh, and candles
hard.
galore in the
Yeah,
bathtub for
I
sure.
have way too many candles.
Not in the
everywhere.
bathtub, but in the
What's up with you putting
bathroom.
bad stuff in your bathtub? It isn't SpongeBob down there. You can't have just like
It is cool
weird
though when you
stuff.
can put a candle on the edge of the bathtub.
She lives life dangerously until you burn your shower curtain.
Well, like in those houses in Naples that we get to stay in every now and then. Those
that
tubs.
sounds so shady. She's like, yeah, when we break into houses. in
No,
Naples-
my dad is a maintenance manager, and we get
and
to
these
stay
were
in
actually
these
left
houses.
by people, so
Yeah,
that's why we
shout
have
out
them.
to-
Shout out to whoever left this at their really expensive.
Cheers to
You
the
a
rich
homie,
people
Daniel.
in Naples that we get a lot
We
of
love
their
you. We truly do love you.
leftovers.
Oh wow, that's a way to put it. Humbling, but thank you.
I'll take it.
You know,
I'm not too
I'm not
proud.
much of a drinker, but my
I
dad's
ain't too
help. My
proud to
dad's job
beg.
does not help with that.
No.
So. He'll come home and be like, "Yeah, I got like 6 shots of Fireball," and I'm like, "Oh Jesus."
But what's
Blood.
another thing that you
That's hard. Like I'm not great at self-care. I can admit that.
face masks?
Face masks is one. Okay, what it is for me, what makes me feel better when I'm like having a self-care day is let's do stuff that like will help my physical health so that maybe my mental health will be like, okay, all right, I see what you're doing here. Because physical health is very linked to your mental health. But what's weird is I've been like sick for the last couple of weeks, but I've been vibing. You know, I've been all right. But I also did. Oh yeah, I did start therapy. Shout out to my therapist. She's very nice. Very nice lady.
We love a sister who is aware.
She's a very nice lady. I am not someone who has an easy time talking about my feelings. If you haven't noticed just from the first 2 episodes, I make jokes a lot. But I don't like talking about my feelings because vulnerability is scary.
You're very good at speaking. Like you're very good at like talking about subjects, but when it comes to like your personal view
I'm like a toddler.
on like emotions and stuff, you like to reflect? Is that what it is?
Do you mean deflect?
Deflect.
Oh, that's
she
not-
knew. See, she's good with her words.
Fuck. She calling me out and I'm correcting her. That's fucked up.
That's our
fucked
friendship
up.
and relationship. That's just how it goes.
Why do you sound so sad?
I am
Don't
sad.
you love me anymore?
I'll always love you.
Wow. That was clap.
And I,
I could do this.
but
But that's hard for me. Yeah, I mean, I guess therapy would
Face
now be one.
masks.
That'll probably be one
Therapy.
she'll help me figure out different ways to. Oh, self-care books. I
Oh,
recently got
yeah.
a self-care
You should've
book
brought
about.
it.
Oh, I should have about empathetic people. It's called, I think, the Empath's Journal. It's something like I feel so bad that I'm butchering it when it's been helping me as much as it has been. But it like tells you like one of the pages prompts was, on random pages of this book, leave yourself little love letters and do this as many times as you want. Like a lot of it is do whatever you want, and it's cool. If it makes you feel better, do it, bitch.
That's
And that's hard
honestly-
for me.
but
I feel
honestly-
guilty when I take care of myself, and that's something I really need to work
that's a
on.
really good self-help book for you
Yeah.
because the way you are.
I'm not nice to myself.
No, I don't even mean the way you are with things. You're very like, you gotta feel it. It's in the moment. You don't like to like plan things. You're very not in a bad way. That's why we compliment each other. I'm OCD and I have to plan every detail. Like there's just something in my brain that does. It feels like a scratch that I can't
Control.
itch.
Power,
It's just-
control, yeah.
And she's really good at just going with the flow. Like
I think that's why
living in the
social media is so
moment.
hard for me, because I really like just being there in the moment,
And
and
the-
like grabbing my phone makes me feel so
The
disconnected.
way you're explaining the self-help book, it sounds like that's the kind of book that you would need. Like, do whatever the fuck you want.
like, be nice to yourself.
Just
girl.
enjoy the journey.
And like one of the biggest things in that book, it's a page that I still am having a hard time figuring out how to fill out. What are good ways for you to still be there for other people but not take on their problems? And I've been reading that page so much and I'm like, I have no clue. So I'm going to write it down and ask my therapist.
That's good.
I asked her, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I like bring a notebook? I didn't want to be rude. I don't know the etiquette of this. I'm scared. because the moment she asked me anything personal, I sobbed. And it felt really good. Like, I can say that now. That's never been my personality.
I mean, that's literally the biggest self-care thing that you can do in life, is to be able to know that you need help beyond what you can provide yourself, and
it's
go
difficult.
and reach out.
It's so hard.
To a third party, like someone that doesn't know you, that doesn't, and you have to completely be vulnerable and open up all this trauma, all of these emotions and things that you've been through. Like, people don't give enough credit to people that go to therapy. They really don't.
No, and I was telling my father about our father, but my father.
For the audience.
Yeah. I was telling him about, like, oh my God. I completely just I looked down at this and completely lost my train of thought.
We were talking about, like, how people don't give enough credit to...
Oh, I was telling him about... Thank you. You're awesome. I was telling him about a time in high school where... And I specifically... You remember Zach from choir?
Yes.
Bestie.
The guy that you used to sing with all the time?
Oh my God, we would harmonize and it was
Hispanic
like the angels
dude?
were crying. Yes. Right. He played the piano like a god. It was beautiful. And I remember one day I had my therapist, her name was Corey. I had my therapist's card in my phone case. And I remember one time in choir we were doing something and my like stuff fell apart. I drop shit a lot, especially my phone. I dropped it and it fell out, and he picked it up and gave it to me, and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to, like, this feels like invasive. And I got so embarrassed that I said it wasn't mine. Like, it wasn't for me. It wasn't like my therapy. Yeah, I got really embarrassed. I mean, I was a kid, but I did not grow up.
Almost.
I did not grow up being told it's okay to feel anything negative, to feel not strong.
Yeah.
I was never taught that it's okay to feel weak. That doesn't
And
make
then
you
when
weak.
you-
And what is your definition of weak? Are you worried about what people think, or are you worried about what you think and what you feel?
Because that's
hard.
That's something that we grew up on opposite spectrums. Like, she was definitely more of a fighter. I was more of a flighter. So we had different experiences with that.
Yeah.
And just the way that we would, like, handle things. And, like, for me, I realized at a young age that I had some kind of mood, something going on with me. Like, it was more than just being an emotional
You sensed a
young woman.
neurodivergency,
Like,
for sure.
There's something...
You know yourself better than anyone.
I'm spicy.
That's
in like a
different kind of spice.
uncontrollable way. And it
said
just...
Paprika?
It got to a point where, I mean, being fully transparent, I was Baker acted. I was forced to figure out what was going on with me mentally. And after that happened, it's almost like something broke in me, and I just stopped giving a shit. And
It sounds like rock bottom, baby.
yeah. I mean, I was
I've
hopeless,
been at rock bottom.
and I did the one thing that I thought I could do that would help everybody and myself. And thankfully, it didn't. I wasn't successful, and I think ever since then, I'm just kind of like really thankful for the second chance
You're
to
here
still
for a
be
reason.
here. And it's like I came back kind of a different person. Like, I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell people about my experiences, about the things I've gone through, how I'm feeling. I'm going to set those boundaries. It did take me a little bit longer to do that part. That was probably like the last step in the metamorphosis. But I think that could be a part of the bipolar too, just being like super excited and like talking too much, being impulsive, and just... It's not even necessarily trusting either. It's just me sharing my story and not like
The
giving
way
a
I
shit
look at
what
it
people
now
do with the
is
information.
if I have a moment where I like share and like perhaps I overshare, who knows? Like people are interesting, dude. Opinions are very different for everyone. Like, you know, the worst that could happen is people judge me for it. And you know, if people judge me at my most vulnerable, then they're helping me weed out people I don't really want to keep around me, because I'm learning how to protect my energy, and that I am not guilty, or I shouldn't be shamed for wanting to protect my energy. You know, it's not me saying like you have a bad energy. It's me saying like I don't think our energies mesh well, you know, and maybe you're a person that thinks I'm being a liberal snowflake for saying, you know, these kinds of things or saying this terminology, but you know, I'm a very feelings kind of person. I don't ever want to hurt people on purpose. Like, that's a huge part of my life, is being empathetic. That's how I love very hard. The people I love, I would take a bullet for them, no question. Like, it's hard for me to tell them that, but in every way I can, I will show them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are hungry, I will feed you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it could be my last dollar. It could be my food, and I'll feed you,
But
you know?
I mean, that's another good thing why you're in therapy, to learn how to set those boundaries, to learn when it's okay to help versus when it's taking too much from you.
Yeah,
And
that's hard.
it is.
That is hard, especially
It's
when you
hard.
grow up in a very traumatic environment. It's hard not to immediately identify with someone who either trauma dumps or even just opens themselves up to you. It's hard not to identify with them so much that you almost lose yourself, and now you're just looking at a mirror that shows their reflection. You're like, who am I anymore? Like, why? I'm a person who deserves to be an individual. Everyone does. Like, we're all so unique, and it's beautiful. Imagine if we were all the fucking same.
It'd be a really boring world.
It'd be so boring.
Mm-hmm.
I love that people are different.
Yeah.
I love how different the people I meet every day are.
Yep. And I mean, going back to like, you know, I'm a lot more comfortable just opening up and talking about like.
And when we were kids, I didn't like that about you. And now as an adult, I envy it. It's interesting. Like, it's interesting how growth is for each individual.
And then for you, it drove me crazy how well you were at setting boundaries, like, as far as, like, I don't give a fuck, like, leave me alone, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I couldn't set those boundaries. I couldn't, like, voice how I felt. I just kind of went with the grain and did whatever, and, like, people pleased, and that's not a healthy way to live life. So it was
for
kinda
me,
cool
it was
that we
just
could
always
take
like,
some
one
of
thing
each
I really
other.
do love about our parents, they gave us room to be our individual selves, you know, believe in what you want to believe. Like, even if there was judgment, you know, believe in what you want to believe. Do what you want to do. Be your own person. We definitely were.
Mm-hmm.
We had the room in our childhood to be weird.
Yeah.
But,
I was talking to Mom about that,
but what
too.
we lacked was a lot of, you know, emotional integrity. I don't feel like we were really held accountable for a lot of our emotions or our outbursts because our parents didn't really know how to hold us accountable. My mother specifically would threaten my electronics. I didn't give a shit. Take it. I'm going to go cut up a grapefruit in the backyard.
What would
and
work for me
sing.
wouldn't work for her.
I told my mother recently this, if you looked me in the eye and said, what you just did embarrassed me and it disappointed me because I know that you're better than that and I love you so much, I want to see you treat yourself with respect, as well as when you act like that, people think that I act like that and it's okay. Oh my God, I would have cried. Like,
But
I'm disappointed in you is so much worse than yelling in
That's-
my face. That, like,
Yeah.
ooh.
But that's the thing, a lot of that is like emotional maturity, and a lot of times people have children before they reach that point in their own lives, so they're raising children and not really knowing how to handle emotions because they don't know how to handle their own.
And it's an odd position to be in, to love your parents to death. I'm so thankful for the people that I can call my mother and my father because I love them to death, and they would be my friends if they weren't my parents, as weird as that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a weird position to be in, to still hold like certain, this is gonna sound so just hold certain ouchies from the past, like to not necessarily blame them or, you know, vilify them for things that they made a mistake in. You know, there's no, it's a famous saying, like, there's no handbook for being a parent, even though there's so many books you could read. But they did their best with what they had. Like, when I wake up, whether they're showing me that in the moment, whether they've been distant, whether, you know, I'm feeling this or they're acting this, I know they love me. I have that. When I go to bed at night, I know there are 3 rooms in that house of people that love me. Like, whether it's the way I necessarily want or know if I need, whether I have the emotional intelligence to know that, like, I have those people in those beds, like, that are fucking trying every day.
And like, to get back to the point of this episode,
Yeah.
like, we never learned self-care or self-love. Like, that's not something that we were taught as children.
Because our parents never learned it too.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's a vicious cycle, and I really feel like we're in a position where we're teaching our parents a lot of things. I mean, we have taken control of things that have been generational curses in our family. Like, personally,
Give us a clappy. Give us a clappy. for ending bad cycles in your family.
Generational
If you
curses.
have a little bit better of a childhood than they did, you're on the right
You're
track.
winning, baby.
That is a
You're a winner,
I
baby.
love you. I love you. You're awesome. This is I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like a moment of introspection. Like this is awesome. You
Yeah.
know that we're out here doing it. Year ago, couldn't catch me dead sitting in front of a camera talking about my feelings because
Mental
I grew
Self-care.
up with very toxic masculinity. You know, hide what you feel or you're weak. You know, everybody around you needs to
Cowgirl up.
depend on you. So if you're weak, then you're nothing, you know, and that's just such a dangerous way to think because, you know, whether people depend on you or not, it's, oh my God, that's hilarious.
I felt it in my nose.
You were holding it back so hard that your nose was like, ow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Continue if you remember what you were saying. I'm so sorry. I'm tearing up because
Because we're talking
my
so
nose.
deep, dude. I get my eye drops and I'm like,
But, I mean, yeah, like it's just it's nice to be in this position where we have a platform that we can talk about things that we really care about. And not only that, like I've had people, we've only filmed one episode that's out right now. This will be our second one. I've already had a few people reach out and like tell me how much they like it, how much like it means for us to be discussing what we're discussing. I've had people reach out that want to be on it. Like it's just nice to see
and
that
that's exactly why we're doing this.
it's a conversation that people want to have.
People yearn, my therapist said this, the way that we are happy is we make connections with other people. When we have connections in our lives that don't bear any like emotional or mental fruit, it only takes away from our mental health, which you know my situation.
Yep.
And it's just like as scared and as hesitant as I was to speak to a complete stranger about every deep dark feeling I have, I felt so much better after. Like I feel like I'm doing something about it.
And that's
you know,
a
I'm not
big-
being beaten. Like I'm not defeated.
Yeah.
You know? And
It's
that's
a big self-care step.
yeah, and I honestly never thought I would. As a kid, I was so uncomfortable with the thought and with the practice of therapy. Like, I completely believe in it. I think it's a great thing. I think everybody, even if you're thinking about it, if you have access to it, you definitely should take advantage of that. I mean, even just someone, like, just sitting there and listening.
And like the beautiful thing about it too is that you were so apprehensive going into it. Like you
was
you
terror.
were nervous. You know, you had all these feelings from childhood when
The
you first
day
tried
of,
it. And
the day of, I was like, why the did I do this to I am terrified.
but then
I'm so
afterwards you
scared.
feel like you were wearing a really heavy jacket and you took it off.
For me, like, I've used this analogy with you so much just because it really resonates. I don't know why. It's just, it's like it's like this cloud of, and like, especially if it's a Floridian thing, there's always rain, but it's like this little cloud that's just like waiting to sneak in on you and soak you. Like, you're holding every electronic you own, and this cloud is waiting to rain on you and ruin all of it. Like, so to feel like you're kind of like dissipating that cloud, like you're kind of dispersing all of that and at least attacking it. Like, I'm facing it instead of being like, I'm fine, make a joke, LOL, let's focus on someone else. Let's fix a new boyfriend. Like, let's not do that. Let's be alone. Let's
good
love
segment.
ourselves.
Good. Gonna switch up the topic. Still on the same train of like self-love, self-care. You mentioned love. As far as self-care can go right out the window when you find the wrong partner.
And when, honestly, I have to admit that I have bad tendencies in a relationship too. I minimize myself so much.
I've been
And
there.
that's so, like, embarrassing.
Been there.
It's
like
so embarrassing to admit that.
I look at my past like with dating and it's like obviously as far as when things happen to you, there's nothing you could have done or said or anything to change like situations, like if something really bad happened to you. But when you look back on certain situations, you can be like, if I would have been able to voice like my voice more, like if I would have been able to set my boundaries healthier, like I feel like a lot of those situations I wouldn't have stayed in them as long as I did. And
I think every human being that's ever been in a relationship that ended could relate to that.
yeah. and just knowing like self-worth, like knowing what you deserve and like what you're putting into a relationship versus what you're getting. Like being able to look at it and be like, I would be happier alone.
I deserve better.
I would be happier alone.
That's
and
so hard to have in your vocabulary and really, truly believe it.
'Cause-
To say it is one thing. To truly believe I deserve better than this situation. Not I deserve better than this person. Like, I don't deserve all this bullshit.
when I was younger, I dated a lot. Like I would jump
God
from
bless.
relationship
God
to
bless.
relationship. I never really healed. Like I just kind of thought that my self-worth was in who I was dating and like I couldn't do it on my own. But then after the last serious relationship I was in, a lot of stuff happened. I started looking at life a little differently. I had to grow up as far
as a bystander, yeah, you should for sure have.
like I had to really make a change because
Your confidence has skyrocketed for sure, and that's
and
awesome.
I mean that comes
as
from
someone that loves you, I like seeing that, of
Be-
course,
I-
because I
I've-
think the fucking world of you. You know?
I've been single for like 2 years.
And do you feel like you love yourself more?
So much more.
Isn't that clappy, clappy, clappy?
Once you realize that everything you're looking for in someone else, you already have in yourself, and like you can do it on your own, like there's so much power that comes from that. Like
Honestly, I enjoy surprising myself with independence. Like, I enjoy having doubts about myself because it's natural, and then proving myself wrong. That keeps me going.
Like
That really does.
last year, I really wanted to go see Kid Cudi. I didn't have anyone to go with. I went by my damn self.
Bless.
Like, and
I'm in the pursuit of happiness.
he is the #1 artist like I've been wanting to see since college, since the first go around of college.
Kid Cudi is college.
Like literally, he saved me.
He's
Like his
everyone's college
lyrics
experience.
were what pretty much led me into music therapy. Like his lyrics saved me. I was
Man
so
on the moon.
depressed. I was by myself in college, away from my family, dealing with probably the worst breakup I ever dealt with in my life. Like I was so in a dark place, and his music his music and cannabis, if I'm being 100% honest.
Dude,
changed the
relating to
game.
music ain't nothing like it.
And then especially when I finally made myself single for longer than like a month, it changed things. Like I started seeing
We
like
stand an introspective queen.
right.
We do. We do.
It just changed things. I saw that I was doing things for myself, and I was able to do what I
You surprised
wanted
yourself
to do.
with your own
I didn't have
capabilities,
to
and that's
worry
awesome.
about pleasing somebody else. I didn't have to worry about their drama and
See,
fixing
that's
them.
hard. Like, there's been so many times in relationships I'm like, I wouldn't do that, and I still didn't leave. But because like I'd always have the moment of being like, well, am I holding someone else to my standard, and is that fair, and blah 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 blah.
completely
It's
fair.
self doubt.
It's
It's
completely
self doubt.
fair.
It's so self doubt.
If
The one thing that bothers me is make sure I got home safe. It's so easy. It's so easy. I cannot sleep unless I know someone got home safe because people drive crazy.
looking at certain
He knows.
someone over
knows.
there.
I threatened him. I'm like, if you die, I'm gonna kill you.
I tell Daniel every time when I leave him, please text me. I don't care like what
I
time
don't wanna
it
worry
is.
that
I
you're
don't
in a
care
ditch.
when you get home. Just let me know that you got there.
And bro, that's compassion as fuck. Like that's
'Cause-
showing you care
and
about
also-
someone without being like, hey, I love you. Like that's love. Like,
It
and everyone
is.
should love each
And
other.
to
Like, I want
be-
you to be safe.
To be completely transparent, we
Like,
drink
Jules-
and smoke
Jules
a
had
lot
to
when we hang
drive.
out.
And Jules had to drive in the rain, and we were like,
Yeah.
worried, dog.
Like,
I don't like it. I don't
you-
like that she got to drive
You
with those
make
crazy
sure that
rain
your
drivers.
homies are okay, because this world is life is
When
too
you
short.
meet the good ones, you protect them.
Yes.
Mhm.
And like I said, we drink and smoke a lot when
And
we
let
hang
us
out.
know you got home.
And I just want to make sure that he got home safe.
She said he.
Yeah.
She's looking at him.
I am.
He's like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Because when he actually texts me that he got home safe, it's a
You're like-
surprise. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Usually
And then
it's
the
the
one
next
time Jans
morning.
did it for him.
Yep.
Thank you, bro.
Usually it's the next morning,
Thank
and
you,
he's
bro.
like,
He said,
"Oh,
also, by the way, we're not dead.
I got home safe." And I'm like, oh, well, thanks.
Thanks.
But yeah, being able to,
He's like, I'm being called
yeah,
out.
we're. That's what you get. Yep.
Awesome.
But yeah, as far as as far as self-love and self-care, like it's a lifelong dance, baby. It's,
Some of us are doing the waltz.
some of
Some
us
of us
got
are
two
doing the
left feet.
tango.
Some of us have never stepped on a dance floor. Some of us don't
But
have
it's
legs.
okay. We all got a journey. We all
do.
start somewhere. The dance of life, baby. I don't know what that was, and I don't want to know. Yeah.
I got it in my nose.
Oh man, you sound like you're in pain. Did it hit your brain?
I think so.
Fucking party.
But yeah, I mean,
Party.
is there any other things self-care that you do to
I don't know. I have a lot of mental health issues, and I'm
baths,
learning how
face
to
masks, therapy?
I strung up
Being
some
single.
lights in my. I strung up some lights in my room.
The rainbow lights.
Yeah, and they're nice. Like it. You don't realize how much your space, affects your mental health too. Like I'm a very like throw that shit like. And
Cluttered
I've been
space,
so much
cluttered
better at
mind.
like keeping stuff clean and like organizations. When I have like my video games and my consoles organized, I feel like I have my shit together, and that's a truly good feeling. Aw, I'm not a messy bitch anymore. Thank you. That's rude as shit, and no one asked. So, what about you? How do you cope besides being an
Being a
asshole
bitch?
to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deserve that one. I guess.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm just being really vulnerable, and you're making fun of me. It's cool.
As far as
You just start crying like, oh shit, I went too far. It's just like, oh my god, it's hard.
self-care.
Kitties. Let's look at another one.
I mean, if you want to pull
Make you
one
feel
for
better.
the happy.
All right, so the one we
Tappy?
got was music.
Oh my gosh.
Remember what I never told you? A scream can be music.
Well, read us the definition.
Hold that.
For everyone that can't see, it's a little kitty in a field with some flowers, and the kitty has wings. And it doesn't look like a pine cone this time.
Whoa.
And it looks like little orchids, almost. The flowers.
I raise my voice in song and join in the joyful celebration of life. Show that shit.
That's the card.
It's a music kitty, and it's very
That's
freaking cute,
the
if
card.
you haven't noticed.
But
I
it's-
raise my voice in song and join in the joyful celebration of life.
It's interesting that card was pulled because
We've talked about
we've
music
actually
a lot.
been
That was my
talking,
first thought too.
Just to end this on a positive
Synchronicity.
note, we're actually wanting to get back into music. It's been a long time since we've released a music.
A freaking track, dude. We gotta update our SoundCloud.
It was actually 8 years ago when we dropped that music video. We watched it yesterday.
That actually makes me feel less cringe. that I
8
was that
years
young.
ago, yeah. So
I
give
was
yourself
a child.
credit.
Yeah, I was a child.
If you want to see our first ever
You're
music
plugging
video, it's on our Fire Nice channel that this is on, so you can. Damn, she really don't want y'all to see it. It's on the channel we upload the podcast to, so they can see
Excuse
it.
me. Oh, thank you for reminding me of that. That's how bad I am with technology, dude. I didn't even fucking know that.
It's on this channel.
Oh, fuck.
Fire Nice.
Oh, God.
But yeah, we have an original song that we made everything in 48 hours. It was 8 years ago, so give us some credit. But that's our first song we ever dropped. And let us know if you want to hear more music from us. We want to touch on a bunch of
I
different
promise
subjects.
you it'll be a lot different than that now.
Yeah. It'll probably be angry
I'll be
breakup
I'll be
music
just as
and-
mad,
Yeah.
but it'll be different. I
But,
won't be wearing my gym shorts.
You were supposed to
I was
play
in
a
my frickin' gym
character that
shorts.
was a little
My middle school
Off.
gym shorts and a Hobson
Hobson.
t-shirt.
I don't know if that was a Hobson t-shirt.
It was, I think.
No, I
thought
don't
I was
think
wearing a
so.
red
I think
Hobson.
it was one of your rock shirts that I gave you.
Oh, so that's okay. That's also embarrassing. So thank you for that.
But yeah.
I thought I was wearing the Hobson shirt because it was for
it was
Funk
for
Madness.
I didn't have that. I don't think I had that shirt yet.
Oh my god. Why
But
did we drink
anyways,
Mike's harder?
Anyways, this has been our self-care and self-love episode.
This has gone. We talked probably more about Barbie than anything else.
We did talk about a lot of different subjects, but that's just kind of how it is
We
when
got
we
into
talk
it,
about
though.
mental health. So definitely join us We want to try and post this every week, but I don't know how. We're figuring
Working around a
things
lot of
out.
schedules.
We're still working out a lot of stuff after the hurricane. We don't really have a solid spot. We're working on it, but we're getting there. Let us know what kind of topics you would like us to go over in the next one. And we will see you guys.
Comment your coping
hopefully
mechanisms.
at least within a month, because it's going to be a month from the first one we posted. I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's how long ago
Interesting.
it was. I believe.
Interesting.
But yeah.
This was fun.
This has been.
I enjoyed trauma dumping with you guys. Good vibes only. Don't make me regret being vulnerable. Thank you. That's fucked up. But also something I do, so I respect it.
But
I
yeah,
respect
thanks,
it.
thanks
Fair-
guys
fair play.
for tuning in to our madness. Definitely make
Hit
sure
that bell.
to
Punch the shit out of that bell.
Beat
Like,
the
subscribe.
fuck out of that bell.
If you don't beat that bell, no, I shouldn't threaten you. But
You
do
can
it, please.
beat my bell. Ring that bell. Beat that bell.
Like and
Into
subscribe
the
though,
ground.
and comment your coping mechanisms.
And like
Get that
share
engagement
this.
going, buds.
Share this if you want. That'd be pretty freaking cool.
Share it or don't. It's up to you, but
Share
it would be helpful. Love
like,
you.
comment. Let us know what you want to see next time.
Peace, boy.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my seat. Know that they